Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It was quiet that morning in the parking lot outside the Willow Creek Public Library until it wasn't. Harold Jenkins, 72, bent down to tie his shoe, just steps from his pickup truck. A worn canvas bag hung over his shoulder. A utility knife was clipped to his belt. Another quiet morning, just another maintenance job. Then a cruiser swerved in. "Hands where I can see them." Harold froze. Officer Kyle Morgan, young and brash, already had his weapon drawn. His partner, Officer Ellis, stepped forward more slowly, hand resting on his holster. "What's this about?" Harold asked, calm but weary. "Got a call about a suspicious male matching your description," Morgan snapped, lurking behind the library dumpsters. "You carrying anything?" Harold said, "I've got ID in my coat pocket and a registered firearm." Morgan tensed. Slowly, Harold complied, moving with the steady discipline of someone who'd seen worse. He didn't resist as they cuffed him, didn't flinch when Morgan yanked the gun from his pocket like it was a live grenade. "Got him," Morgan muttered. "Guy's armed, acting shady, no visible badge. Sounds about right." A few passers-by watched from across the street. One pulled out a phone. Harold said nothing, but something shifted inside him. Back at the Willow Creek police station, Harold sat in a holding cell under buzzing fluorescent lights. His jacket was damp. His wrists were red from tight cuffs. Officer Ellis filled out paperwork. Morgan cracked jokes with zeal. "Guy says he works nights at the library but carries a gun and knife like he's in a war zone." "No priors," Ellis said, squinting at the database, "but his file's flagged. Hold on." A red alert flashed on the terminal. "Active asset. Do not process. Priority intercept." "What the hell?" Ellis muttered. The alert doubled, then tripled. A new line appeared. "Federal override in progress. Stand by for contact." Before they could process it, the phone rang. Officer Sarah Holt answered, listened, and paled. They said, "Stop everything. Don't talk to him. Agents are en route. ETA, 7 minutes. "What?" Morgan frowned. "Who is this guy?" Holt glanced at the holding cell. Harold sat calmly, silently, like he was waiting. Morgan laughed nervously. "Probably some bluff." Ellis wasn't so sure. Harold had the air of someone who didn't fear waiting, someone who'd outlasted it before. 7 minutes later, they arrived. 3 unmarked black SUVs. Doors didn't slam. They clicked open. Efficient. Quiet. 4 agents walked in, saying nothing. Suits, earpieces, a calm energy that demanded nothing. Leading them was Agent Carver, mid-50s, charcoal tie, eyes that missed nothing. "Who arrested Harold Jenkins?" Carver asked, voice level. Morgan stepped forward, confidence evaporating. "We did." Officers Morgan and Ellis responded to a suspicious activity call. He was armed. "You checked his ID?" Carver asked. "Yes, sir," Morgan stammered. "That was your mistake." Carver brushed past them. Agent Torres, the second agent, was already pulling footage from the station's central computer. In the cell, Harold finally looked up. Carver opened the door himself. "Asset H. Jenkins," he said, voice low. "I'm Agent Carver. We're getting you out." "About time," Harold said, his voice steady but firm. "I was starting to think your priorities shifted." Carver nodded. "They haven't, but you've been off the grid too long. The signal wasn't supposed to trip unless someone leaked the 91 roster." Harold raised an eyebrow. "So it's happening." "It's happening fast," Carver said. Harold stood slowly. His knees cracked. His eyes didn't waver. "They didn't know who I was," he said, glancing at the one-way glass. "But they sure knew who they thought I was." In the squad room, Agent Torres slid a classified dossier across Holt's desk. It was brief, But the words carried weight. Operative Jenkins, embedded Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, Middle East under federal directive. Black level clearance, direct field coordination, 1987-2005. Reactivated under dormant protocol, 2018, after exposure risk. Holt read it twice. He's still active. Was, Torres said, until your officers nearly blew his cover. Morgan muttered, "Why's a guy like that pushing a mop at a library?" Carver turned to him. "Because that's what a cover is, hiding in plain sight. Now his name's surfaced and he's on a kill list." Morgan swallowed. "We didn't know." "No," Carver said coldly. "You didn't ask." In the evidence locker, Harold retrieved his gun. Sealed, clean, registered since 1975. "Why still carry that thing?" Holt asked quietly. Harold's gaze didn't waver. "Because some people never forget, and I'm not talking about allies." Holt hesitated. "Is it true? The kid in Cambodia? Hostage extraction?" Harold exhaled. 5 operatives went in. I was the 5th. We got the boy out, wrapped him in burlap to hide the blood, carried him 12 kilometers through the jungle. I still remember his eyes. "You saved him." "I gave him a chance," Harold said. "That's all anyone gets." He turned to Carver. "Where now?" "Off-grid safe house," Carver replied. "But it's not quiet. The leak wasn't random." Harold glanced back at the station, the walls, the faces that doubted him. "Then they'll come again." Carver didn't deny it. 2 weeks later, Willow Creek Station was reshaped. Morgan faced an internal investigation. Ellis was reassigned. Both were flagged for procedural non-compliance and failure to de-escalate. Holt was offered a temporary federal liaison role. Someone noticed her restraint, her questions, her silence when it mattered. She never heard from Harold again, at least not directly. But one morning, a letter arrived. No stamp, no return address. Holt. "Some think the war ends when the guns stop. It doesn't. It just gets quieter. You listened. You didn't need a file to know something was off. You trusted your gut. That's rare. Stay rare. H.J." Holt pinned the note inside her locker. No speeches, no ceremony, but she walked differently now, not lighter, just more aware. In a small rehab center tucked in the Blue Ridge Mountains, a group of veterans sat on folding chairs. One young vet spoke fast. "I can't sleep. I keep replaying the convoy ambush like I'm back there every night." Harold Jenkins, now in civilian clothes, nodded slowly. "You never forget," he said. "You just learn to carry it without letting it carry you." Another vet asked, "How long did it take you?" Harold looked out the window. "I'll let you know when it happens." As they left, a young volunteer approached him, handing over a sealed folder. No name, just said it's for you. Harold opened it alone. An old, grainy photo showed a boy, now a man, standing outside a UN refugee center. On the back, one sentence, "You gave me a chance. I took it." Harold leaned back in his chair. No smile, just a quiet breath. For the first time in years, he let his eyes close. He didn't need to fight. He just stood still and let the truth speak for him. Because some men keep secrets and some men are the secret. If this story moved you, subscribe for more, because the strongest stories are the ones we almost overlooked.